Hey everybody, this is Tim Charron, and welcome to my brand new podcast called The Charron Zone. Blah, 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 blah. And welcome to the Charron Zone. I'm here.
The Charron Zone.
The Charron Zone.
My Charron Zone.
You are in the Charron Zone, even though we are here at Songtown Studios. I'm here with the one, the only Clay Mills.
That's me.
Woo. So, Clay, I'm sure you know who he is, but if you don't, for some reason, he's a multi-number-one hit songwriter with hits by Diamond Rio.
Yep.
And the big one, Mr. Darius Rucker, three times over. 3 number-one hits this gentleman wrote. Also, Little Big Town, Trisha Yearwood, Clay Walker, and many, many others. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for inviting me to Songtown Studios. And what we're going to do is just go over your career and basically how you got started.
Wow. I don't know if I remember that far back.
So how you got started, and then if you have a big triumphant pinnacle to your career thus far, then you can share that with everybody.
The pinnacle, the mountain of success.
Yes.
It's a struggle. The struggle is real. How did I get started? People often have this misconception about it's who you know, it's you're connected, you got money, this and that. But I was born literally in a small town in Mississippi, and my family was farmers. No one was in the music business. I had an uncle that played on the weekends in a bar band. And
me too.
Yeah.
Kind of the same idea.
Yeah. So, but nobody was in the record business. No one, I didn't even know songwriting existed as a career. So it kind of dispels that myth of you have to know somebody, or, people on the outside aren't trying to keep you on the outside. People on the inside aren't trying to keep you on the outside. They're actually looking for talented people. So, how did we start this conversation?
how you started your career, but this is interesting because this is what I try to have my guests
I picked
talk about.
up just osmosis.
You're picking up my vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I'm trying to enlighten people on with people like yourself, is what it's really like in the industry.
Or any industry.
Yes.
You can literally do anything you want if you have a little talent and you work at it. It's not about who you know or how much money you have. It really is about how you can produce. In our business, it's can you write great songs?
Right.
Can you sing? Can you record great records? If you've got a great record and you've got a great song and you can perform, then hell, anything's possible.
Absolutely. I think that the myth is, that guy's lucky, or that guy just was born into the right family in the right place. And I know a little bit of your story. You came to Nashville, and you worked how long to get your first publishing deal? And then even after you got your first publishing deal, it's still
I started out. I left Alabama when I was 19, went to New York City, and actually I did some demo tapes in a recording studio, and they gave them to a jingle company. And so I got started programming tracks and writing jingles on TV. There's one that's was gotten more millions of views on YouTube than any of my songs. It's like this Crossfire toy. And I was like, crossfire, you'll get caught up in the crossfire. Well, I programmed that track, I wrote it, my buddy Al Frisch sang it. And so that's how I got started, was actually writing jingles for TV. And one week it was like, can you do this heavy metal thing? And then the next week it's like, can you do this dance track? But it was actually great training. It was like my college for music. Where each week I had to, compete against every other jingle company in New York and try to land these commercials.
So they would say, we need a spot for Crossfire or McDonald's, and then you'd be competing with the other jingle writers in town. And
yeah, there might be 40 or 50 other spots that come in to the agency, and you've got to beat them all out.
Wow.
So it took 3 or 4 years. Me and my partner, Richard Berg, he had been in the business a long time. He had the connections, and he thought I was talented as a writer, and so I started working with him. So it's really about trying to meet people. He heard through a friend that I, could write and do tracks.
And so how did you learn to program and do tracks? And
dude, I worked at Manny's Music in New York City.
Uh-huh.
So I worked there for a year so I could buy recording gear at cost.
Wow.
And then I opened up a studio, didn't have any clients, but I had a friend that I was doing my song demos at his studio, and he said, well, if you open up a studio, I'll send you all the work I don't want.
Yep.
He's like, yep. And that's what you got to do to start out. He's like, I've got these pain in the butt clients that, I'm happy to send you those people. So that they, put food on my table when I got started. And then that led to somebody in the jingle business hearing that I did tracks, and I submitted a tape and they liked it. So it's really all kind of just word of mouth, doing good work, mm-hmm. and word of mouth, you know. And so I did jingles for a while. Then I ran into this guy who was on doing country music. And in New York, there was like 3 of us doing country music. Mm-hmm. So I wrote some songs with him, and he goes, well, I've got a buddy that's on a TV show. It was like All of My Children, one of those daytime soaps. I forget which one. And he wants to be a country singer. So I wrote like 5 songs with him, and because he was a TV star, he came down to Nashville, and they were like, well, we love these songs. Who did you write them with? And they're like, oh, this guy Clay Mills, he's got a studio, does the tracks. And they're like, well, can we have his number? And so my friend kind of got pissed because they didn't sign him as a singer, but they really liked the songs. So that's what I'm always telling people. If you do good work, somebody's going to notice it.
Yeah.
So if you're frustrated, if things aren't happening, look in and go, okay, this is on my shoulders. I've got to be so good they can't deny me.
Yeah.
And it's still that way. I've written hits, but I can't send a song to Kenny Chesney that sucks and expect him to cut it.
Right.
I've still got to prove myself. The business changes. I still got to prove myself every day.
Wow. So then eventually you moved.
Yeah. So like I said, my friend that was the actor, I wrote a few songs with him. EMI Publishing loved those songs. They flew up to New York to see me do a showcase, and they were like, we think you're an artist. We want to sign you as an artist. That part never happened. I really didn't, in my heart, I don't think I wanted to be an artist. Mm-hmm. But they signed me to a publishing deal, and it took 7 years of writing. I lost 3 publishing deals because I was not writing cuttable stuff yet. When you have a wife and a little baby and you're trying to make house payments and you lose your publishing deal, it's scary stuff. But I was not going to go back. I wanted to be a songwriter, so I just kept focusing. And then after about 7 years, I got my first big break. I wrote a song by Beautiful Mess that Diamond Rio cut, and knock on wood, that thing still plays. Like, it still makes money, and people know that song. So that allowed me to go another few years without having a hit until I figured out how to write the next one. And
so I
was an overnight success that took me many years. Because I didn't get my first publishing deal till I was probably 33.
Wow.
So it wasn't like I was some young kid that came along.
And then 7
And then 7 years. I was 41 when I had my first number 1.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I'm 83 now. And I look good for my age.
He looks great.
I work out. I mean, you could tell.
Yeah, definitely. So
is this interview going the way you thought it was going to go?
Exactly. No, this is great. This is great stuff. This is what I love. This is what I want. I want people to get out of the podcast and the videos of the podcast is to get the real stories behind stuff. Because when I hear stories like this, I think, oh my God, if he went through all that, then I can keep going. It gives people, I think it gives people
Dude,
hope.
I had 3 days before Christmas, my publisher sends me a pink slip one time because I had not had any success. I had been writing there 2 years, nothing was going on, and I got a pink slip. Like, it may have been the day before Christmas. I got a pink slip. And so, you got like a 6-month-old kid at home, and you're going, oh. And then that was the days, we didn't really have cell phones then, so it wasn't like I could call my boss, and I had to wait all the Christmas holidays till we got back in January to the office and go in the office and basically convince them that I needed 6 more months.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of that 6 months, they wanted to re-sign me again, but I got a better offer somewhere else, and I was like, nah, I still remember you, firing me the day before Christmas. Oh gosh, it was terrible. But you're just kind of on pins and needles, that's the way it is. Exciting times.
Yeah. So another thing that I wanted to ask you that I didn't bring up before is, so what is your schedule kind of like? I know that you guys are, like, how many times?
Songwriters, we get up around noon,
yeah,
and we drink heavily, and then no, it's nothing like that. I'm up usually about 5 o'clock every morning, head to the gym, do a writing session, do stuff like this, interviews.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of work mentoring songwriters through Songtown. So literally, there's days I work 18 and 20 hours a day. There's just so much to do.
So how
between writing songs, I might have 1 or 2 writing sessions a day. Then I'm mentoring and kind of helping other writers that are starting with their careers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always on the phone talking to them, answering emails, doing videos for them, courses and stuff. So it's kind of a grueling schedule, but I like it. I'm getting to do what I love.
And I think that's a great thing for people to know, that if you want to be a professional songwriter or professional anything, you have to be writing 2 songs a day or having two
You have to write
sessions.
a lot of songs just to get good.
Yeah.
And if anything, you've got to learn to work with other people, because every single step, like you're saying, well, how did you get that first big chance in the business? It was through co-writing.
Yeah.
Everything I've ever done, whether it was a #1 single, whether it was getting my first publishing deal, it all came about from co-writing with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I write a song with you, you happen to play it for your manager, who happens to run into somebody at a label, and then next thing you know, Darius Rucker, wants to record the song. So you just never know how it's going to work out, but it always comes out that if you're co-writing with other people and you're working with other people, then good things happen.
Yeah.
If you're sitting in a room by yourself, it's going to be hard, really hard.
Yeah. So speaking of Darius Rucker, any highlights of your career? I've seen you've had a few shows with him where he called you up to play and stuff.
Anytime I show up to one of his shows, he'll ask me out on the stage to play and sing a song. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just a great guy. And I'll tell you a funny story. One time we were playing in Vegas, and I just happened to be playing inside in a 300-seat venue at this casino in Vegas, and that afternoon he was playing outside. So he's out there playing for about 5,000 people or whatever, and I come out and play a couple of songs, and afterwards I say, hey, tonight I'm playing inside for 500 people. And he's like, man, I want to come do some songs, So he comes in, sits in with me. So we're playing this one of our songs, History in the Making, and I'm singing he's singing the first verse and chorus, and then I'm going to come in, and I start singing the second verse. Well, someone in the audience is on their phone, and they put this up on YouTube the next day. So I come in the second verse, and they go, damn, he's better than Darius. And so I thought it was funny, so I sent Darius a link to this video. And I haven't heard from him since. No, I'm just kidding.
That's the end of that round.
Just kidding. He's a great guy. But, yeah, I didn't hear back about the video. But
You didn't give that the thumbs up at all?
maybe he never saw it.
Yeah. Well, excellent. And we can wrap up with telling us about Songtown.
But we're having so much fun.
I know.
Why would we wrap up?
Let's just keep going. More wine. But either way, let's talk about
Songtown.com,
which I am a part of.
Yes, you've been there probably from the beginning. And I was just telling you earlier, if you don't know about Songtown, basically Songtown.com, we mentor up-and-coming writers and artists, and it's a place where you can go and learn about the business, kind of get your songwriting skills up to a high level. It's really been working. I was just telling you that we've had 8 of our members in the last 2 years sign staff writing deals at major publishing companies. We've had writers getting major cuts with artists. I mean, it's just been like amazing to see how writers go from, they're kind of writing good songs to like writing songs that all of a sudden people want to record. And that is why I do it, because I like keeping the art of songwriting alive.
Yeah, and it's really great, like you were saying earlier, that so much comes out of co-writing, and it's such a great community that you guys have built, you and Marty Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, we have thousands of people around the world. We've had over 5,000 people take courses.
Yep.
And are being members on the site. So literally, we have local groups in London and in Sydney, Australia. I mean, just all over the place where writers are hooking up and working together, and it's just a great format to learn about the business, learn how to, what it takes to make it in the business.
Fantastic. You know what we're going to do? We're going to, after this, we're going to shoot a little mini podcast about your top tips for a songwriter, your great advice, poignant advice. Right after this, and this, right in the middle of the podcast, is a teaser for that. So make sure you look out for that. And make sure you get on Songtown.
Don't tease me like that, baby.
Hey! So make sure you get on Songtown. Absolutely amazing organization if you're a songwriter or if you are even interested
in being a
songwriter.
Come up with 10 tips? One. Oh, okay. One.
But just give them the right hook. You know what I'm saying? And make sure that you subscribe to the Charron Zone.